Hello children. Today before we begin the lesson, let's play with this toy. I have made a toy for you. Shall we? Right. Did you observe? Did you observe what happens here? Once I pulled, the balloons get blown up. Once I pulled, the balloons, the red and the green balloons get blown up. Even you can make this at home using a balloon, and you want a straw and a plastic bottle. Right. Now let's move on to the lesson. Today we are going to learn about respiratory system. Previous lesson you learned about the digestive system. There I mentioned how our body gets energy. I told you the simple food is taken to the blood, and the simple food and the oxygen, they react and produce energy. This was learnt in the previous lesson. Now today you are going to learn how your blood gets the oxygen. Who helps? That is our respiratory system. So our respiratory system is helping to get oxygen into your blood, and also it releases the unwanted waste gas, that is carbon dioxide. Right? Now you can see I have written an equation here. Simple food and oxygen, they go for a chemical reaction, or we say that's a burning process, and they produce energy. And also with the energy they also produce carbon dioxide. This is a waste gas. It's a poisonous gas. If it is remaining inside your body, it will harm your body. So we have to exhale, put it out. So the respiration process help in inhalation, that is to intake your oxygen and eliminate the waste carbon dioxide, that is exhalation. So respiration, there are two processes happens in the respiration. One is inspiration, the other one is expiration, right? Inspiration, the intake of air, that is called inspiration. Expiration is the elimination of carbon dioxide and water vapor, right? So what is respiration? The process where the energy is produced when the simple food and oxygen go for a chemical process, or we call a burning process, right? This is the simple equation which help to understand the process of respiration. Now let us see the structure of the respiratory system. This is the structure of the respiratory system, right? Before I explain you the function, I will read out all the organs in the respiratory system from top to bottom, right? This is nasal cavity. This is pharynx. You remember we learned this word even in the digestive system. I told you pharynx, it's a common passage for both, for the nasal cavity and your mouth cavity. It's a common place, right? Pharynx. Through the pharynx, the food also will pass. This is the food pipe, and the wind, I mean the air, is also going to pass through this. So we say pharynx is a common passage, right? After the pharynx, here you have a part called larynx, right? Then you have trachea. Trachea is your windpipe. Small classes you learn this as windpipe, that is trachea, right? Then you have a pair of lungs. This is the left lung, and this red color I have drawn with the red color to show the difference for you. This is the left side and this is the right lung, and we know our lungs are protected. It's covered by rib cage. So here actually these are these are the bones, right? That is protecting our lungs, and between the lungs we know we have our heart. I have not drawn you the heart because to make you understand easier, I drew only the respiratory system, right? And your trachea is splitting into two as left bronchus and right bronchus. The left bronchus splits and forms the bronchioles. Okay, down here you have the diaphragm. It's a muscle. It's able to move up and down, right? This is your right lung, this is the rib, and this one with a red color I have written, which is very important, that's called as epiglottis. Epiglottis, it's a lid actually. It's a muscle lid. It is present normally on top of this trachea. What is the function of this epiglottis? I have drawn with a red color. It will prevent the food or any other liquids entering into this trachea. It's a protective cover actually, epiglottis. It's made out of cartilage bone, very soft cartilaginous. It's made out of very soft cartilaginous, and it's a lid-like structure, right? What is the function of this epiglottis? It will prevent the food and the liquid entering to your trachea, right? Once you are swallowing, it will close this trachea. If not, the food will reach to this part and even you will choke. So these are the parts, right? Next, I am going to compare with my toy, right? This is my toy, which I showed you at the beginning of the lesson. I am going to compare this toy with the original respiratory system. It's a model actually, okay. Here I have drawn with a red color, that is the right lung. I have used a red balloon, that is the right lung. And left lung, I have used the green color balloon. And our trachea, that is your windpipe, I have used the straw. And I have created a model of a respiratory system, right? Then the diaphragm over here. For that, I have used a rubber, that is a piece of balloon, right? Once the diaphragm comes out, what I told you, once the diaphragm moves this way, you can see the balloons are blown. That means once the diaphragm is contracted, it creates a vacuum effect inside, and automatically their air is taken in, right? Once the diaphragm flattens, right? Once the diaphragm becomes flat, right? It creates a vacuum effect and air is automatically taken in and you get the oxygen into both the lungs. That is what happening inside your respiratory system. Okay, once that air is taken in, oxygen is taken in, it reaches to this left and the right bronchus and the bronchioles, and you can see here I have drawn bag-like structure, that is called as air sacs. So I have zoomed that, I have made it larger and I have drawn you the air sacs here. Okay, this air sac I have zoomed and drawn here. Once the oxygen reaches over here, it will enter to this air sacs. And here what happens, from this oxygen is going to go to your bloodstream. Oxygen goes into blood vessel and carbon dioxide will be coming back to this air sacs. The blood vessel, that will bring down the unwanted gas. It's a waste gas I told, and it will release that to this air sacs, and air sac is going to carry that away. It's going to move out. Once you breathe out, carbon dioxide gas will move out of your respiratory system, right? So this is called as air sacs. Okay. So what happens in the air sacs? Oxygen is going to the blood vessels, and from the blood vessel carbon dioxide is released and carbon dioxide is carried out of your body. I told you carbon dioxide gas is a poisonous gas. Done. So next I am going to talk about this structure. I will explain you at each and every organ what happens, right? So once you breathe the oxygen gas through the nasal cavity, right, inside the nasal cavity we have hair-like projection, right? Inside your nasal cavity you have tiny hair that is called as cilia, C-I-L-I-A. That cilia will filter all the dust particles, right? And inside this nasal cavity we have some blood vessels. That blood vessels, it's a warmer and it is going to warm up your oxygen gas. So inside the nasal cavity it will filter the dust, the blood vessels, it's going to warm your oxygen, and you have mucus, that is a wet substance that will make the oxygen gas wet, right? It will give some wetness, and then the oxygen gas will move towards this trachea, and from the trachea it will pass, right? From the trachea it's going to pass down to the larynx, from the trachea it's going to pass to your left lung, and here it will go for the right lung, and it will reach the bronchus, bronchioles, and to the air sac.